Kiersten, and today's video is going to be a story time, a sit-down video where I'm going to discuss all of the events that have happened over the last month and a half of this, whatever, about how and why my house, basically all of my house, pretty much broken down and didn't want to work. So let's just get right into this. So I'm actually going to start by saying, if you've been watching our vlogs, you would know some of the story is in our vlogs. But I'm just going to put it all out there from start to finish, and if you've watched our vlogs, there will be an update at the end of this video on the conclusion of this whole mess. Okay, so I'm going to start the story back at the beginning of June. It was about June 8th. Chris and I were sleeping, and in the middle of the night, and the randomest time of the night, our AC unit started making a really weird sound. And so we had to completely shut it off that night. Well, the next day, Chris looked at it. He couldn't really tell what was going on. And we decided that we're gonna need to call an AC person to come work on our AC. Well, the issue was going to be that within the next week, we were going on vacation with my family. We didn't have time to call an AC person. We were trying to make sure we had everything ready for the dogs with us. Making sure we also had the funds to go ourselves. So we held off for that week. We went on vacation with my family. Everything went fine. Future videos will be posted about those. That evening we came back. It took us a long time to come home. So because of that, Chris decided he wanted to take a shower when we got home. So Chris took a shower as normal, and I was really tired and didn't feel great, so I was gonna wait until the next day to take a shower. I went to go take a shower, and our hot water was not working properly. So I couldn't take a shower. I didn't know what was going on. So later that evening, Chris checked out what was going on, and he had assumed that our water heater had gone out because it wasn't kicking on like it should be. So Wednesday, the following day, we decided to go to Home Depot and purchase a new hot water heater, and we went to install it that night, and it wasn't working. We couldn't figure out what was going on with it. Thursday came around, Chris tried to work on it again. It wasn't working. So he calls his dad, and his dad can't be out until Friday because we're supposed to get a big storm, and he's got busy season, so he can't take off just randomly. He had to wait until Friday. Well, Friday came, and unfortunately he had to work a little later than normal. Saturday came around. Saturday was dugout days. I went to dugout days to spend time with my sister, while Chris stayed at home to help his dad figure out what was really going on with the water heater situation. His dad comes and finds out that there is a heating element on the water heater that is burnt out on the new water heater that we just purchased. So he went and got a new heating element, and they tried it and nothing was working. It still wouldn't work. So Chris's dad was getting really frustrated, and by the end of it he had to go home. So we went to Home Depot and talked with Home Depot when I got home, and they advised us to bring the unit back into the store and exchange it for a new one. We took it back to Home Depot and we exchanged it with a new water heater, hooked it up, and it wouldn't work. So we gave it all night. Sunday morning it didn't work. So Sunday morning we called a 24-hour technician that could come and install it, and we asked them if they could come and install it, and unfortunately they did not have their guy anymore. He had quit. So we called a different company, and they told us that they weren't able to come and install it because it's under warranty with Home Depot, and so they can't touch it. We had to take it back to Home Depot. Which never made sense to us because we just needed somebody to install it. There wasn't anything wrong with the thing that we could tell. Everything worked on it. So we just needed it installed because we thought we were installing it incorrect. In the morning, I decided that I'm going to call the AC people and set up an appointment to get our AC fixed. Well, they couldn't come until Tuesday. So Monday evening comes around, and Chris and I take our water heater, go to Menards and get a water heater from them. We found out it's the same brand as the water heater that we currently have, our original water heater was. So we were pretty sure it would work. So unfortunately, because it is taller and skinnier than the other one from Menards or Home Depot, it didn't fit in my car, so we had to ask somebody to come help us, and unfortunately they couldn't help us until Tuesday evening. And the AC people come out and found that our AC unit. We had a blown motor that was broken on it, and they had one left that we could buy, so we purchased that, and he came back and fixed it up. And then he went and looked at our outside unit to make sure that was up and working correctly, but it wasn't kicking on like it should be, and he had discovered that we have not enough electricity going to the unit to kick it on. And in fact, our whole house isn't pulling enough electricity as it should be. So he advised us that we need to either talk to the city or an electrician. Well, we called the city, and the city told us they needed an approval from the electrician to if it's something that needs fixed. So we called an electrician, and an electrician came out and told us that he can't do anything, that we need to contact the landowner's office to find who they hire for an electrician and have him come and work on it, because he can't do anything about it. I tried to call the office, and the office wasn't answering the phone. Chris called the office to let them know what was kind of going on, and they said that they would let the manager know of what was going on, and that she is gone on vacation until Thursday, so they will let her know when she comes back. They had also told us that they were going to send out a maintenance person to come look at our stuff, and he came out and found that our meter was completely blank, and it should have numbers on it, but it was just completely blank. So they contacted the city and everything. The city actually came out Tuesday evening. It was kind of after hours personally, but they came out and looked at it and said that we had a bad underground wire, and that over the weekend that we must have been gone, they had a power outage, and in our power box, they had like an adapter that was connected to basically bandage up the power outage, basically fried that adapter that they had put in there to kind of temporarily fix the problem. And it completely fried it while the power outage went out over the weekend that we were gone. So we came home thinking everything was fine, and in fact, it was not fine. None of this was fine. So we now believe that that is the reason why our hot water heater went out. It wasn't the hot water heater itself, it was the electrical power outage that blew basically our whole entire thing. So nothing was really working. So we contacted the office Thursday, and they got in contact with their electrician, and there was just a lot of miscommunication at this point. We were then told that if it was a problem on our end, from like the meter box to our house, it would be our responsibility to fix, but if it's from the meter box, from the transformer part, which is another box of electrical stuff anyways, that it would be on them, and that was all that was told. And we were never told anything other than that. The weekend started to come around, so Friday we didn't hear anything. Saturday, Sunday, the office closed, everybody's closed. And Monday, which was the 3rd at this point, it was the day before the holiday, we were concerned that the office was going to be closed. So I found out that the office is actually open. So, and Chris actually got off work early that day. So him and I went into the office and actually spoke personally with the manager, because we felt like they weren't taking us very seriously. I mean, at this point, we had no hot water, we had no AC, we couldn't clean our clothes properly, we couldn't, at this point, we thought we couldn't clean our dishes properly. Like, it was, everything in your life basically wasn't working, and the only things that worked is like the TV, the internet, the smaller stuff, but nothing too big. So we went in and talked to the actual manager about everything, because we were under the impression that we were waiting for an approval from her to get the thing fixed. Well, she was under the impression of a different story. She was told that we took care of the problem, that we got it fixed, and that it's up and working and everything's fine and dandy. We were told that there was underground wire that was bad, and she was told that there's 2 underground wires, and the underground wire going into our house is the bad one. We were told that there was just like 1 underground wire that was bad, and they couldn't tell us where it was, because we were waiting for an electrician from the park to fix it, or to approve it, or whatever, or say where the problem was. So because of this, we decided that both of us were gonna call an electrician together and actually set up an appointment together, because there's a lot of miscommunication at this point. So we called a plumber together, and he said because it's holiday he wouldn't be out until Wednesday the 5th, but if he felt like it, he would come out on the 4th. And she also offered that she'd be out on the 4th if he calls her and lets her know, because she really wanted this fixed as well as we did. So the 5th comes, and the guys actually showed up early, and they started looking at all the electrical outside. They've never, not one person has ever stepped foot in our house except for the AC person, but nothing about this electrical has been inside our house. And they had found that one of the transformer boxes that we're actually connected to isn't working properly, like it's completely messed up, and that the line leading to our house and stuff is completely fried, and it's no good, right? So they said that they were gonna talk with, they also had to call the city had to come out and deal with the meter part, because also our meter is too close to our house, so they need to move our meter. Well, they have to get approval from the city to move our meter away from our house. Well, so they decided that the best case scenario, instead of digging up the road and driveways and our whole entire yard, they would just dig up a trench behind our house in our yard, and dig that up and connect us to the transformer behind our house. So that's what they did. Then we found out that they were waiting for approval and a permit, basically, to move our meter, but they had not heard from the city about that, and that could take months to get. I don't know how long it's gonna take. I don't even know if they're actually gonna do it. I have no idea on that front, but we were told that hopefully by the end of the day that they would have our electricity up and running, because at this point they also had to shut off our electricity, so we had no electricity at this point. Get a call later in the afternoon that they got everything fixed and that our electrical is back up and running, and that we have full power to our house, and that was kind of the end of it. We also found out that we don't have enough amp, like a big enough amp on our house that it should have, but I mean it works, they said, but it's not ideal. They wish it was a little bigger like the rest of the houses in here. But we're not sure if they actually changed that or if they just left it what it was. But all of the problems were basically of the office setup. Chris hooked up the water heater, and our water heater is working great. Our dryer is working, our dishes are working, which we later found out that we could have ran our dishwasher, because our dishwasher has its own heating element. It had our AC working. Kinda, that is another problem that I'm going to be talking about that still does not have a conclusion as for this time period, but it might have a conclusion by tomorrow. Everything seemed to be working. Now we're going to talk about the AC issue. When we got everything back up and running, our outside unit kicked on completely fine. Our inside kicked on completely fine. Everything seemed to be completely fine. But a few days of like 70-degree weather, I didn't feel like it was necessarily necessary to have our AC on. So for a couple days, I didn't have our AC on. Right after everything was fixed, I didn't have our AC on because it was pretty fine. Come last Saturday, I turned on our AC because it was in the 80s and going to be in the 90s this week. I turned our AC on, and our AC is set at like 71, I think. And it won't get past, it continues to stay on. It doesn't blow the cold air, that much cold air. It's like a very tiny bit of cold air. So our house is actually 75, 76 in here when it is set at 71. So our AC is just constantly running, and it's not getting actually cool like it should be. And it happened for a couple days. Obviously the weekend I didn't think anything of it, but by Monday I realized that it was actually pretty hot in here. Mainly because the weekend we were busy doing stuff and not home. But then obviously Monday I was home, and the last 2 days it has been extremely hot in this house. So our AC is running, but it's not blowing the cold air like it should be. So it's not keeping our house cool like it should be. So I called the AC people this morning as I am recording this, which is Wednesday. and they are going to be out tomorrow afternoon to hopefully fix our issue. So we're going to see if it's actually fixed. You might actually know an update in a vlog because I'm gonna edit this video and get it up for Friday. That is the update of why and how our house broke down for almost 3 weeks. If you like story times, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below what your AC is set at. I'm just curious. Subscribe if you haven't already and turn on the bell notifications so you're notified when we post every single Friday and Tuesday. This is KMCers whatever, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.